Hi, I'm just sharing with you this article in Truth Dig that's been put together by Chris Hedges, and I'm going to leave the link to it below this video, and I do advise you to read it. The Heresy of White Christianity is something that, gosh, I grew up with it. You know, I grew up with what can I say, the conflict, the inner conflict of trying to understand how Jesus fitted into my society, my British society. And it was in adulthood that, you know, by adulthood I'd started to realise that yes, it was quintessentially white Christianity that I was dealing with, which is basically a bastardisation of everything Jesus stood for. As if somebody had taken Jesus and turned him upside down, really, you know. And it is a disgusting entity. It's full of hypocrisies. It's twisted to such a degree that the so-called evangelical Christians of America, far-right extremists, they really are eating their own shit and vomit. That is exactly what they are doing. You know, Trump has been empowered by that same shit and vomit. It's a fact of it. You see, to give an example of it, take for example the issue of immigration, which largely it's South Americans that American citizens, far-right extremists among them, are feeling threatened by. Oh, all these South Americans were being invaded, it's an invasion, they're complaining. Okay, it's your shit, that's your shit, that is your vomit. America, far-right, extremist, evangelicals. That is your shit and vomit, isn't it? All these people, impoverished, desperate, arriving at your borders, some of them entering illegally into America, then being exploited by your businesses, American business people who would rather exploit desperate immigrants, illegal immigrants, they'd rather employ them and undermine and undercut the American wage and the American workforce, because they don't want to pay a fair day's pay for a fair day's work, do they? No, because that's communism, isn't it? Hey, it's communism. It's communism. Anybody expecting to live in a socio-capitalist society, let's hammer that down immediately and cite them as communists. Yeah, that is what is going on. Well, you know, go and talk to people of Russia who lived through Soviet Russia. Communism doesn't allow any faith. Communism doesn't allow any business. Okay? Socio-capitalism allows for businesses, independent businesses. Socio-capitalism expects businesses to pay a fair day's tax from a fair day's earning of profits, just as every worker is expected to pay tax as well. Because the fact of it is, business people, your workforce are human and they have needs, and you are required to help support their needs because they are helping you to earn fat profits. That's the way it is. But no, these people, they don't want to give an inch, do they? Oh, no, no, no. Because if they give that inch, they'll take a mile, and before we know it, we'll be communist. No, no, sorry, capitalists, far-right extremist capitalists. Because let's face it, not all capitalists are far-right extremists, are they? No, that's your mentality, isn't it? That's your criminal mindset. Oh, if I can get an inch, I can take a mile. If I can get my foot in the door, I'll eventually force that door wide open and gain access to the house and help myself to everything in it. Because, by the way, I've got a gun. And that is exactly what has been going on. It's you lot that can't be given an inch. because you do take your miles. Now, what has America been doing to South America? America's CIA, American governments, be they Democrat or Republican, let's face it, since the death of Kennedy, there's never been a true Democrat in office yet. They're all covert Republicans. Fact. So you're left with a lopsided, imbalanced political economy where it's crumbs for socialism and massive, huge slices of cake, lashings of custard for the usurers, i.e. the people Jesus whipped out of the temple, the money exchangers, the usurers, who will even make a profit out of the fact that people believe in God and need to pray for a sick relative. Okay, so what has the CIA been doing in America, in South America? Oh, that's right, yeah. They like a Pinochet, don't they? They like a Pinochet. They love a Bolsonaro, you know, who is threatening to, well, evict all the indigenous people off their 720 indigenous reserves from the Amazon. Okay? Apparently there are chicken pox on the land. There won't be a square centimetre demarcated as an indigenous reserve under his leadership. Bolsonaro, an outright misogynist, he's threatened to kill anyone who stands in his way. Okay, and that does include the indigenous tribes people of the Amazon and all the life of the Amazon. You know, he's going to open it all up for corporate exploitation. Log your heart out. Take a look at Indonesia. Apparently, you know, we need to make orangutans extinct in order to wash our hair and spread margarine on our bread. Right? Yeah. That's what's going on. That's the reality of rampant corporate capitalism that is paying no heed to the social needs of humanity, the social, ecological needs of the environment in which we live. These people are vampires. So, obviously, what you're left with when you've got every South American country that is being undermined from within by the infiltration of CIA-driven socio-psyops and politics, whereby the Bolsonaros and the Pinochets are going to get elected because they're the ones that American corporations favour, and we all know who back American corporations, don't we? Yes, the Zionist Wall Street bankers, the ones that have been laundering money, like, for example, Citibank. Citibank was caught laundering money from drug cartels. That's just one. That's just one of many. They got fined £100 million. Oh, that's cheap, innit? Considering they made billions. They get fined 100. Oh, naughty Citibank, making profits out of Mexican drug cartels. Why do those cartels exist? Why do those? This is what I mean about you eating your shit and vomit, America. Why do those cartels exist? Why are they terrorising the people of America? Why? Because of America's prohibition. America decided to put prohibition on drugs and then demanded that every country in the world follow suit, which they all promptly did, because drugs are really bad for you, said America, after it had tried its prohibition experiment with alcohol and unleashed absolute horror, crime and madness into every area of America. Oh, suddenly people who weren't buying alcohol anymore, they were buying cannabis and cocaine, weren't they, off South Americans. Oh, South Americans are earning quite a bit of money out of this prohibition against alcohol. I know. Let's legalise alcohol. Never mind that millions of people becoming alcoholics every year, a fair portion of them getting seriously ill and dying. Never mind about all the children that die from alcoholic poisoning every year. You know, we'll abandon prohibition against alcohol and we'll just move it onto drugs, onto certain substances that we're going to call illegal drugs. We're going to call them narcotics. cocaine, cannabis, you know, heroin, opium, all of these things, we'll ban them. And therefore, we can create this black market then. And it is a well-known fact that in every country where prohibition has been totally abandoned, actually, drug use has fallen. Addictions have started to drop. Okay? Oh, and crime levels. Crime levels drop. Because, you know, there's all related crimes, isn't there, with prohibition? You know, people who are addicted to an illegal, highly expensive substance. They've got no money. What are they going to do? Oh, I know, let's go and rob a shop. Let's go and mug somebody in the street. Let's go and break into somebody's house. Let's shoot people. And so then comes along a Trump. Oh, all these Mexicans are fleeing. What? What do you mean they're fleeing? The armed, very powerful criminal drugs cartels that are governing every aspect of their society, and even to the extent that they're electing Bolsonaros into power. And the CIA is actually working directly with them to keep the South American people oppressed and impoverished by majority. So 80% of South American people are living, again, just above, on or below the poverty line. And then, well, Trump's going to solve the problem, isn't he? He's going to build a great big wall. He's going to build a great big wall to protect American citizens. Is that the future that the pilgrims that arrived on American shores how many centuries ago? Is that the future? The America of today, is that the future that they dreamed for their children's 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 children's? This sick, disgusting, despicable entity that puts sanctions against a nation like Cuba that at least is providing national health care for its people. But it's quite happy to do business with Saudi Arabia. You know, the kind of nation that absolutely, totally denies human rights even to its own citizens, to the extent that, you know, people are being lashed or beheaded for a post on Facebook. Oh, it's all right, we'll do trade with them. Oh, we're not doing trade with Venezuela. They've gone and elected a government that's socio-capitalist, that's claiming that, you know, the national oil resources belong to everybody in the country and they shouldn't be just controlled and earn profits for a little few people and a load of American corporations. Let's punish them with sanctions. Let's agent provocateur some social unrest in their societies. Let's make them suffer for being so evil as to vote for a humane government. You see, that is called eating your shit and vomit, America, when you start empowering yourself on strength of the problem that you have created. And you're saying that the only way to deal with that problem now is to build a huge, great big wall across America. Seriously. If any of you people believe that you are with Jesus, you are so far removed from the truth. I don't know if there's any hope for you. And Chris Hedges is exactly right. The black African, Afro-American people, the descendants of the slaves, who had such terrible levels of degradation dumped on them, they know Jesus. They know Jesus, okay? They know that prohibition was created exactly for the purposes to create crime and criminals and to create a criminal underworld ruled by criminal demigods. That then, oh, the cleaner than clean, whiter than white, rich people of America through their banks will profit from by laundering the proceeds, you see, the proceeds of the crimes that they have created with their policies. Their policies, because they're the ones that lobby the government to make these policies in the first place. because they know crime's profitable. It oppresses people. Anything that oppresses the people generally is profitable, you see, because they're running a wine press. They're running a wine press. And who are the grapes? Yes, the workforce and our children. Yes. And this has now become a global affair. You're talking global domination. And yes, the black Afro-American citizens know it more than anybody, because they're the ones that are paying the heaviest price. They're the ones that are being persecuted en masse. They're the ones that form the bulk of the prison populations. So the business people, the capitalists, they win every which way, don't they? They can win by getting their man into power, okay, another far-right extremist, on the strength of the problem of the immigrants, that those same extremist capitalists who do not understand, because they're too thick, the thick, stupid people, do not understand that humanity, like all the life on this planet, is socio-capitalist. And we should be living in a system of abundance, in compassion, according to our human rights. But no, they don't like human rights. They want to make America great again. You know, like it was when they could just kill the Native American citizens. Indians. When they could just go out and shoot them and kill them and rape the women and steal the children. When they could go to Africa and just pick a few people out here and there. Yeah, come on, transport thousands upon thousands of them to build New York, to plant the crops. Yeah, you're going to be our slaves. I'm the white man. I'm superior. And that is what is most disgusting of all, is that these people think that they are superior. What? What? And you're eating shit and vomit. Your own shit and vomit. Empowering yourself on the strength of it, on the strength of the problems that you have created. Well, it's high time that this world got real, because I tell you now, what's happening in America, it's happening now in every single country, and all on the same issues, and it's all along the same highway to hell. Oh yes, it's very broad, it's very smooth, it's very well lit, isn't it? Until you realise it's going fucking nowhere, except off the end of the cliff. Oh, but don't worry, you rich capitalists, your 1%, you see, they're all in their hot air balloons. They're not actually on the earth. They don't fall off the edge of the cliff. They don't sink to the bottom of the deep blue sea. No. They're in their hot air balloons, aren't they? And in their yachts. You are so stupid, people. And that is why now I have got absolutely no time for Brexiteers, Trumpists. You know, I've spent my time debating with them, trying to reason with them. No, these people, they just want to stick with their hate and their ridiculous stories. Oh, it's the Rothschilds, it's this, it's that. I'm sorry, how can somebody who supports Trump and Brexit talk to me about the Rothschilds when Rothschilds are Zionists and Trump is a Zionist? He supports Zionists. When Tommy Robinson of the EDL in Britain, he's a Zionist, he supports Zionists. I mean, it couldn't get more ridiculous than these people giving Nazi salutes and you supporting Zionists. Oh, but we've got to, because then because this has got to happen in order for revelations to come true. Oh, really? Really? So you've not got the sense of the people of Nineveh, who on hearing such a terrible prophecy turned around and said, I'm sorry, God, we don't want that prophecy. We're going to change. We're going to live right. We're going to be righteous. We're going to uphold the law. We're going to live with compassion, care and consideration. But no, the people of this world, the heresy of white Christianity, says, no, we must fulfill the prophecies because it's God's will. Well, God gave us free will and a free choice. And the actual fact of it is that Revelations was written by a total misogynist, Jesus-hating Gnostic, who actually the Apostle St. John, who he accredited his evil revelations to, loathed in his life and called him the deceiver of all mankind, and certainly that he is, because these white Christians, they stand by their revelations like nobody's business. Oh, the revelations are coming true. The prophecy's coming true. Oh, it's happening. All we've got to wait now is for 2/3 of the earth to be laid to waste, and then Jesus will return. Well, Jesus told us that he is here all the time, in every single person. Jesus returns when we return to Jesus, as indeed Black Americans have never left him, and that's why they survived, because they knew Jesus, and Jesus has been with them and will be with them forever. So, the heresy of white Christianity. As I say, a disgusting, evil filth of an interpretation of a righteous, caring, considerate and compassionate man who preached a socio-capitalist society. Exactly what Venezuelan people have voted for in their country. Not a society that abolishes capitalism, not a society that abolishes religious faith, okay? So therefore not anywhere near a communist society of the form of Soviet Russia. But no, what this 1% want to impose on the world is their corporate communism for the majority and socialism for the 1%, because they know no divides, do they? Oh no, once you've made it into the big league, it don't matter what colour you are, what faith you are, as long as you support the Zionists, who, again, what are they? A usurpation of Judaic faith, and even the fact they call themselves Zionists is absolutely a crock of shite as well, because true Zionists are Rastafarian, and these people are about as far removed from Rastafarianism as snow is from sunshine.